Hey guys, this is Lala Legacy and welcome back to another episode of Little Busters. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because that would mean the whole world to me, and after this video, if you like it, hit that like button too. And I do apologize for any background noise. I had to open up the window. It's actually getting really warm where I am, so it is very nice weather for the window to be open. So with that, let's jump in. I sat on a bench in the courtyard, lost in thought. I was waiting for Hadaka-san to show up so we could talk. In the end, seems like no one is inclined to tell the truth. Not either of the fathers, nor the mother, nor Futaki-san. And I got the feeling Hadaka-san wasn't telling me everything either. Maybe I'm just too drunk on the thought of appearing as some kind of hero to Hadaka-san. That thought floated to the surface. For someone to save someone, that idea had an arrogant sound to it. It was just like Futaki-san had said. Even so, if a person is in need, I still want to be able to help them. The same way I had been helped such a long time ago. If someone was in trouble, I wanted to be able to help that person. And I think my cats are going crazy right now. Yup. Bucky has the zooms. The sky, which had been clear until now, seemed to fill my emotions and grew cloudier. Also, the garbage truck is across the street right now, so that's probably loud. Ah, there you are. Hadaka-san? Afternoon, Riki-kun. Is it alright if I share the bench with you? Yeah, of course. Thinking about something, or you should take a break. Here, I baked a chiffon cake. And I brought some jam you like. That noise is distracting me. And I brought some jam like you requested last time. Hadaka-san showed me the small bag with red and purple jams that she'd brought. She had a butter knife as well as a small pair of scissors. She had prepared meticulously. Where's the marmalade? Oh, sorry, I forgot it. I think I did a good job again this time. Go ahead and take a bite. Yeah, thanks. I cut off a slice of the chiffon cake in the cake box. I took a piece of the slice and ate it. Riki-kun, that's bad manners. I brought forks and all. The cake melted in my mouth deliciously. Huh? It's way better than before. Is it? Thanks. The one before was just a little dry. Dry? The texture, you know? It was a little different. What was it? Something seemed out of place. I guess that's the result of my training? Yeah, I guess that's it. Huh? As I tried to grab a paper napkin, the fork caught on my sleeve. I hurriedly made to pick up the fork that had fallen to the ground. Ow! As both of us bent down for the fork, our foreheads hit. That hurt, Riki-kun. Sorry. Even though we'd been seeing each other every day, my heart started pounding. I caught a light scent of mint. It was the scent from Hadaka-san's hair. Ow! You're surprisingly careless. Hadaka-san admonished me as she wiped the fallen fork clean with a red and purple handkerchief. Only occasionally, but sorry. The two of us leaned back on the bench again. Well, it's fine. Hadaka-san deftly cut open the small jam pouches with the scissors. But then she abruptly withdrew her right hand that was about to offer them to me. We should probably see what it tastes like plain first. But I've already had a plain. That was just a tiny bit. Here, eat up. Hey, you don't have to shove a... There's still some left over. You can have the rest, or you can give the rest to Masato-kun and the rest of the guys. Yeah, I'll do that. Having something sweet to eat seemed to raise my spirits at least a little. Hadaka-san must have been feeling the same way. She murmured something softly. I wonder if we should stop here after all. You mean the research? Yeah, if my parents don't want to talk, there's really nothing for it. True enough. There was little we could do if her parents refused to cooperate. If I said let's stop, would you be upset? Haruka-san didn't meet my eyes. Eh? Well, if you think about it, if it turns out that I'm not Saigusa Show's kid, that means she is. In other words, this time it'd be me backing her into a corner. If it turns out like that, I don't really know what I should do. I feel a pang thinking of her going through the same thing I have. I mean, it'd just be shoving all the negative stuff onto someone else. I don't think something like that will end up making anyone happy. That's why I think it'd be best if we just stopped here. Haruka-san raised her head and smiled. What do you think we should do? I was stuck as to how to answer that question. Is it really alright to give up here? Isn't it enough already? We're not gonna give up. We're not giving up. Huh? Why? There was something strange in her voice. Could it be? Haruka-san, have you had a change of heart? What do you mean? I mean, you're always saying bad things about Futaki-san. Now all of a sudden you're thinking objectively about the whole thing? Just who are you? Sorry I'm late, Rikiku! I spun around. It was Haruka-san. Oh. Who? The smile had vanished from the face of the girl in front of me. Are you Futaki-san? She didn't answer. Riki-kun, what's going on here? Chiffon cake, mint and marmalade, right hand and scissors, that feeling of something being out of place. Why would you do this? Why? Why would you do something like this? Hey, do you even understand what you're doing? Hey, please explain this. Why do this? Riki-kun, come on! Haruka-san. What's going on? Why does that person look just like me? Drawing near the bench, Haruka-san murmured to herself in shock. No way! Why? Chiffon cake. It's a lie! This has to be a lie! It's a lie! It's a lie! I won't believe this! Haruka-san swept the chiffon cake and jam off the bench and they fell onto the ground. She then grabbed the scissors and held them up, trembling violently. Haruka-san! Haruka-san? I mean... Without saying anything, she took off running. As I stood there dumbfounded by the shocking reality, I saw Haruka-san go chasing off after her. Haruka-san! I started after the both of them. Oh, Haruka-san is like murderous mode right now. Though it had been a sunny day, the courtyard was suddenly cloaked in shadow, and as soon as the light had faded, it began to rain. Under the darkening sky, I chased the two Harukas. I could hear arguing voices over the sound of the rain. Then I saw Haruka-san from behind. Then she applied a finger to her eyes and looked right at me. And slowly, she pulled loose the bangs tying her hair. In a puddle of water, two ripples spread. That face, so alike yet so different from Haruka-san's, with an overpowering expression. Again! You've been cheating me! It's always like this! You're always making an idiot of me! You're just laughing at how pathetic I am because you're free to do whatever you want. You always snatch everything away from me and then look down on me. Would you just stop it? Stop playing me for a fool already. Liar! You hypocrite! Pretending to be Miss Perfect! The drizzle began to lighten up. Even though you told me you were allergic to eggs, that you couldn't even touch them. Futaki-san's face, reflected in the puddle, twisted in scorn. You just convinced yourself to think that on your own. You see the world through your presumptions, and they cloud your vision. It's a shame I got found out like this, even after going through the trouble of wearing contacts. But now that I got caught, it's all the same. It's not that I can't touch eggs. If you really must know, it's citrus fruits that I have a problem with. Liar! I'm not lying. It's the truth. Did Riki-kun? Did he eat your cake, did he? He ate it. He told me it was delicious. And that yours was horrible. Liar! You're lying! That's gotta be a lie. It's a lie! That's bull! You're just saying that! I won't. I can't believe a single thing you say! Then why don't we ask him? Just ask him about it. Liar! Lies, 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 lies! You tricked him pretending to be me! Well, there's no helping it, is there? There's that difference between you and I. Between you and me. Obviously, anyone would pick me. Anyone at all. Just to rub that in my face again, you... Just accept it. The fact that you are you. That's all there is to it. Right, Naoi Riki? Don't you dare say another word to Riki-kun! Enraged, Haruka-san tore her gaze away from her and turned it to me. What's this? So, Saigusa Haruka has a monopoly on him? You should know well that you won't be able to keep him all to yourself. You really are an optimist. So, now that your boyfriend has uncovered the truth, what next? Despite her words, Futaki-san seemed to be enjoying herself. You look terribly upset. Well, I guess I can't fault you for that. Did you really think you had some special talent for it? Cooking those egg dishes, I mean. Shut up! You're hopeless with any other kind of dish, aren't you? Stop it! Shut up! Shut up! But you're not even that good with egg dishes. That's the reality, no matter how you may think. Unable to hold up under Futaki-san's disdainful gaze, Haruka-san hung her head and gripped her fist tightly. Your boyfriend said so too, that it was bad. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Haruka-san's head snapped up as she reached out to grab Futaki-san. I restrained Haruka-san in a panic. Let me go! Let go! Let go! Haruka-san! Haruka-san, calm down! I tried my best. But you have to come and snatch it all away. You take everything from me. A murmured word slipped out of her mouth. Just die! You should just disappear! If you weren't here, I wouldn't be like this. It's because you're here. It's all your fault. Yours! Die! Haruka-san was screaming violently. Her feelings were flooding out with the force of a broken dam. Ah, trying for the tragic heroine route? But all Futaki-san did was snap another snide comment. You're so convinced that you're the victim here. It makes me want to vomit. You crave to be the most pathetic person on the planet, even though you're just fishing for pity from whoever will give it. As long as you're cared for, everything's fine. Isn't it great? You found someone to shower pity on you, someone to comfort you, someone to care for you. But that's just an illusion, just a happy dream. Nobody can save anyone else, not you, nor him. You're not a god. Haruka-san shook me off and dove at Futaki-san. Haruka-san! She was completely consumed by rage. That's when I noticed it. Haruka-san was clutching the scissors in her left hand. As she thrust them forward, I could see the pointed end of the scissors trembling. What now? Her voice was cold and quiet. Haruka-san's movement stopped. Come at me seriously. You hate me, right? You want me dead, don't you? Then come at me like you mean it. Then you'll be satisfied, right? But Haruka-san didn't take another step. Huh! You're not even prepared to do that much? Trash is trash, no matter how you look at it. What a joke! It's because of things like this that people always call you a good-for-nothing. So just keep on clutching onto that grudge of yours for the rest of your life and crawl back into your hole. Haruka-san! I managed to pry the scissors away from Haruka-san. I protectively forced some distance between the two. What the hell was the point of all this? If you've been doing all of this, why are you also hounding Haruka-san? If I hadn't noticed, just what would have happened? How many times are you going to make me repeat myself? So stupid having to say it again. But whatever. If I take away everything she grasps onto, she'll finally be forced to revert. Revert? You mean this is who she really is? I'm sure there's no way you understand any of this. You're the same as those relatives of yours. The same as all the others who bully Haruka-san. When I said that, Futaki-san's lips stiffened. After a moment of silence, Futaki-san spoke. That's just your selfish opinion. She muttered something an old lady would say. Do you really think that? It was sad. Really sad. Why do people feel the need to hurt each other like this? Why do people have to fight like this? And if I said that I did? Why did you do all this? Why? I don't have a reason. Don't lie. It's pointless telling me not to lie. I'm a born liar. I've been lying since the day I was born. Farewell. Leaving behind that toneless word, Futaki-san disappeared from my sight. A crowd that had been drawn by the commotion stood at a distance, their umbrellas like a garden of flowers. The people who met my gaze hurriedly turned to go on their way. Haruka-san. I put my arms around Haruka-san, who was standing rock still. Haruka-san suddenly returned my embrace and broke down into sobs. I'm sorry, Haruka-san. I patted her back softly. Even when the sudden rain had ran its course, Haruka-san still hadn't stopped crying. The two of us were silent until we arrived at her house. I looked down at Haruka-san's left hand, which felt chilly to my touch. She was clasping my hand tightly. For that moment, I believed the strength of her grip was a reflection of the strength of her feelings towards me. Haruka-san, we're here. Don't you want to go inside? After what happened, I doubted she would be able to go back to the dorm, so I walked her all the way to her home. Haruka-san? Are you going home? Her voice cracked a little as she asked the question. Do you want me to go home? Haruka-san shook her head fervently. Stay with me. Don't go away, Reiki-kun. Okay, I nodded. The inside of her house was silent. Happily, it looked like no one was home. Feeling better? Yeah, that's good. Sorry, Reiki-kun. You don't need to apologize. I've shown you something shameful again. It wasn't anything to be ashamed of. It eats me to say it, but... It eats me to say it, but what she said is the truth. There was no one around to teach me how to cook, so egg dishes are the only thing I can make. I used to think it was my specialty or something. Looks like I've lost the one thing I thought I could do that she couldn't. That's not true. It is true. I really am a worthless good-for-nothing. That's not true. Then, what can I do? Well, no answer comes to mind, right? There isn't anything, really. The warmth was leaving Haruka-san's voice. I looked straight into her eyes. There is something. What is that? You were able to make me fall for you. Haruka-san's eyes widened. That's something she couldn't do. Her expression softened. You're being kind of conceited, Reiki-kun. You make it sound like loving you is something special. Tears were rolling down Haruka-san's cheeks. Is there any other meaning for the word love? That's such an embarrassing line, Reiki-kun. No one can hear, so it's fine. I can hear you. That's because I wanted you to be the one to hear it. Our lips met softly. But I might be the kind of person who doesn't care who it is. The truth is, it could be I don't care who it is as long as they love me. That's fine. It's fine, even if that's true. It won't change my love for you. I sat down next to Hadaka-san and entwined my fingers with hers. Then I slowly kissed her. So it's all right. You don't have to worry. All right. Really? Yeah, really. But I'm always causing you trouble, Riki-kun, and exploiting our friendship. And I still don't think I deserve someone to love me. Stop. I just told you that I'm not going to change my mind. But she's so much... she's... Hadaka-san looked like she was going to start sobbing again, so I started stroking her hair in alarm. Don't worry, I won't get stolen away, so don't cry. Yeah, I understand. It's true, you noticed it. That she wasn't me, I mean. Hadaka-san sniffled loudly. As our lips parted, Hadaka-san let out a relaxed sigh from deep within her chest. You know... What, Hadaka-san? Just stay close to me a little longer, Riki-kun, then I'll be all right. So just don't leave me alone. Her breathing rapidly turned shallower until she was fast asleep. The relief must have finally got to her. All I could do was pray for the girl I loved to be able to at last find peace, if even only in her dreams. For a moment I had no idea where I was. Something warm was covering my forehead. You awake? I heard Hadaka-san's voice. Little by little my memory came back to me. Ah, that's right. I'm in Hadaka-san's room. I had fallen asleep while holding Hadaka-san's hand. What time is it? It's already past curfew. Oh. I was gonna wake you up, but I wanted to keep watching your sleeping face. Sorry. Nah, it's fine. What's covering my eyes? You were kind of sleeping on my lap, so it'll be embarrassing if you look up. Oh. I was thinking while I watched your sleeping face. Hadaka-san sighed. What were you thinking about? I was wondering how it was for my parents. I wonder if they felt like I do now, being able to hold and be held by the one I love. Yeah. I don't know if maybe it's because of my childhood, but I can only feel safe in the arms of someone I love. It's like it patches up a hole in my heart, and... Yeah. You see, I wonder if that's what those two also thought back then. Are you talking about your two fathers? Yep. I wonder if my mother told them both that she loved them. And I was thinking how that was just weird. I wonder if she really didn't hate the situation. If it were me, I would have hated it. All I need is one person to love. I wonder why those two put up with it. Maybe they both really loved your mother. And so my mother loved both of them in return? Hey, Hadaka-san, have you ever asked what the relationship between your two fathers was? Now that you brought it up, no, I haven't. Two fathers and one mother. What had been the real circumstances between them? Their genuine feelings? I wonder what they were feeling. It's odd. What's odd? I mean, before now, I never even wondered about the stuff that led up to me being born. I just kept mulling over the reason that I had been born. I wasn't thinking of anything but myself, or anyone but myself. I wonder why our folks did such a thing. Let's ask them, Hadaka-san. Let's ask them why. Yeah, you're right. Hadaka-san, you should go to bed. There was no clock, so I couldn't tell, but I figured it was already well past midnight. You're right, I'll do that. She turned off the light, and then there was a rustling sound from the futon. It was pitch black. I stood up and grasped the doorknob. Riki-kun? Yeah? You can use the sofa. I think there are blankets there. The one with the tangerine print is fine. Use that one. Okay, got it. Don't go smelling it too much, Kay. I'm not going to. Just kidding. Alright, good night, Riki-kun. Alright, good night. I closed the door. As I descended the stairs, I thought to myself, Haruka-san was changing little by little. I felt that we might yet be able to come to a resolution for the current situation. Sorry to keep you waiting, Riki-kun. Shall we go? After meeting in front of the school gate, the two of us headed towards Haruka-san's house. Did the dorm head say anything, Riki-kun? I think it's fine. Masato covered for me pretty well. Guess I'll have to thank Masato-kun then. So your parents should be here today, right? Yeah. Once we were standing in front of the gate, Haruka-san paused with a nervous look. "'Kay, it'll be fine. Let's go, Riki-kun." I took Haruka-san's hand in mine, and with the other, I reached out to open the gate. The dinner table was silent. There was just the clattering of the plates and utensils. It was an agony trying to eat normally in that kind of atmosphere, even though the food itself was delicious. It felt as though I was chewing on sand. Haruka-san stole a glance at me. I nodded. Good luck, Haruka-san. Looking at this scene laying out in the dining room, it had a feeling of completeness. There was something there I had lost, something that was out of my reach. It was like looking at the wax food displayed in front of a restaurant. Everything was there, but at the same time there was nothing. There's something I want to ask. What is it, Haruka? How was I born? How? Not why? Her parents' gazes met, and they both joined in a tired smile. I see. So you've started wanting to know. It seemed like something she had predicted long ago and had been wishing for a chance to talk about. Thank you for asking, Haruka. A faint smile. Her smile was a perfect match for Haruka-san's pitiably pained one. The night before the wedding, I was held by two men. Didn't you hate it? They were both people I knew well, had for a long time. The man by her side, the other father, and at the same time, one of her husbands, looked away. I loved them, both of them. I had never thought of trying to choose between them. That's how you were born. Because those were the rules? Yes, however, after it was over, I began to think that something had changed. The two men I loved both had different ways of expressing their love for me. But I came to understand that, in the end, we were just puppets on someone else's strings. That's what I realized, that we were objects, nothing but things to be used. I cried. It was painful, mortifying, unbearable to figure out a fact like that on my very first time. And you? How did you feel? Haruka-san addressed the question to her father. I was a Futaki. Everything had been decided for me. But that man was different. He was the one who taught me about the world outside. The three of them had talked together. They had talked about escaping from the rules of the family. They decided on that, on the night of their wedding. And then? Then what happened? Of course, the real answers lay immediately ahead from here. What happened after that? That I can't say. Eh? I can't believe my ears. Haruka-san had a look of despair. Just that one thing I cannot tell you about. But there's something I want you to understand. You and your sister were not born by accident. We were lovers, and you were the result of that love. I don't care about that! The sound of her slamming her fist on the table. After that! I want to know what happened after that! Haruka, you've met your other father, haven't you? Haruka-san nodded. If you want to know what happened next, he's the only one who could tell you. This is as much as I can tell you. Only that we were longing for you two to be born, and that we've always wished we could tell you about it. You may not believe it, but I wanted to save you so many times over the years. Ah! I'm about to cry. The heir had already been decided on, which meant that all of the other hangers-on were just potential trouble, since a conflict might break out again over the inheritance. So, in the end, we weren't able to bring you to the main house. There was nothing we could do. The family's shame had to be banished, cast away to die in the wilderness, to become nothing but bleached bones on the earth. I'm sorry. Haruka, forgive me. The two had been seen as nothing but tools to create an heir for their house. Because of that, their child had been taken without a second thought, leaving the parents to suffer through the trials of their life. The two of us had our hands full just getting through our lives back then. With that confession, the adult before us bowed her head in apology. Please forgive this worthless failure of a mother. More deeply still, Haruka-san's mother bowed her head. I don't want an apology. Even if you apologize, nothing will change. What I want to know is, which one's child am I? Like a child throwing a tantrum, Haruka-san beat her hands on the table. Haruka-san, calm down. She turned to look at me with tears in her eyes. How was I born? That's all I want to know. The two twins were compared, and the one that was not chosen was disdained, downtrodden, and told it was better if she hadn't been born. That was the story of how Haruka-san had been born. To Haruka-san, who knew neither the circumstances or reason, it had always been like something fate had decided for her. Sorry, Haruka, we can't say anything more beyond this. Why does such a promise exist? That's what I wanted to know. How can we get him to tell us? SAIGUSA'S, I mean. Neither parent responded. Then I guess I'll go home. I suppose the place Haruka-san considered home was not here. And maybe because they understood that, her parents remained silent. Did you really want to save me? It's true. Even if that's a lie, I'm glad. Haruka, I am glad. Ask Katana for help, Haruka. Why should I ask that girl for help? If both of you together ask him, that person will surely talk to you. That was the condition we promised on. Haruka-san bit her lip. Haruka. No! Absolutely not! I refuse to ever ask her for help! No! It must be hard for her parents to watch one of their children reject the other. I took Haruka-san's hand. Let's go, Haruka-san. It'll be curfew time soon. With that, I tugged on Haruka-san's hand and started walking. Haruka-san. I understand. Yeah, I understand, but I don't want to. Haruka-san closed her fist and grit her teeth, looking like she was trying to squash down all of her feelings. I understand, I do, but I... While hiding her eyes with one hand, she trembled. I drew her into my arms. Yeah, I understand, Haruka-san, but you want to know, right? Then we have no choice but to do it. Let's do it. Let's ask Futaki-san. No! Flat refusal. Hey, Haruka-san. About what you said to your mother earlier. Whose child am I? Is what you asked her, right? Yes. You said that before we started our investigation, too. I have to know whether or not I'm the wrong one. But Haruka-san, what if that's how it is, that's how it is. I've already resigned myself to that. Haruka-san, do you happen to be thinking that either one of you has to be mistreated? Huh? That's not it, right? Your reason for wanting to show which one you are has changed. Before, it was about trying to escape your current situation. But isn't it different now? That's right. What was it that Futaki-san had said while pretending to be Haruka-san? I mean, it'd just be shoving all the negative stuff onto someone else. I don't think you're the only one who's been mistreated, Haruka-san. Isn't it because of that you yourself don't want to hate that girl? She bit her lip and didn't respond. She must have wanted to deny my words. Haruka-san was torn. I suppose it would be a lie to say she wasn't hoping for someone else to have to shoulder her suffering. Even with that, would trading situations with someone else really solve the problem? No, it wouldn't. Once you find out the truth, what do you really intend to do? Will you resign yourself to the answer? Or do you just want to drag her down? With that, will your problems be solved? What do you think I should do? I didn't answer. What should I do? Please, tell me. I don't remember. Something like this. I don't know what I should do. Nobody can answer that question for you. Why not? Well, because this is your life, Haruka-san. The only one who can decide what to do with it is you, yourself. If you don't want to be led on by a leash by others, you have to make your own decisions. I was talking big. What was all this patronizing stuff coming out of my mouth? Was I really that strong a person? At the very least, I had to act like I was strong. If I lacked the strength to support her, Haruka-san would be crushed under the weight of the dark emotions she carried. I'll talk to her. After a long silence, oh my god, loud-ass cars. After a long silence, Haruka-san gave her answer with a stiff expression. Okay, I understand. Without Futaki-san's help, Haruka-san would have no future. Futaki-san! During break, I called out to Futaki-san. She turned to walk away. I seized her arm. Futaki-san! Did you need something? I just want to talk. I don't. Bye. Wait, please, it's important. Important? Futaki-san gave a sarcastic laugh. It may be important to you, but not to me. I'm busy. Let go of me. What I wanted to tell you is that Haruka-san wants to talk to you. Futaki-san froze. What did you say? I'm telling you, Haruka-san wants to talk to you. She stared at me without a word, like she was trying to glare a hole right through me. I don't want to talk to her. We're done here. She jerked away from my grasp. Futaki-san, after school, in the courtyard, we'll be waiting by the bench. I won't be there. I've delivered the message. And I told you I'm not going, understand? Futaki-san raised her right hand to her hair and began mussing it violently in irritation. After all this time, what does that girl want to talk to me about? You'll have to ask her about that yourself. I've had just about enough of you sticking your nose into this. You. Just who do you think you are? I don't think I'm anyone special. I'm just trying to help out Haruka-san. I'm not going. You tell her that. With that, Futaki-san swung around and strode away down the hall. Oh, she'll appear. I wonder if she really doesn't plan on coming. In the courtyard, I glanced at the clock on my cell phone. Quite some time had passed since school ended. We'd been waiting there ever since. Haruka-san was silent. She stood with her lips drawn in a tight line, staring up at the sky. A footstep. Futaki-san! My, the bodyguard's here again. Can't you do anything by yourself, Saigusa Haruka? Picking a fight right off the bat. But judging by her expression, she seemed in fact nervous. It almost felt as though she was hoping for something. Help me! Haruka-san opened her mouth. Help? Those two told me I have to ask you for help. So there you have it. Help me. Futaki-san's expression fell. Now she had a look of plain disappointment. A sigh left her lips. No. Why? Why? That's all you have to say, isn't it? Why? You keep asking that all the time like an idiot. Even if someone gives you the answers, you'll never try to think for yourself beyond them. Why are they mad at me? Why is our family different from others? That's all you think, isn't it? There's nothing in your head, is there? You should start realizing that's why you've ended up like this. There's no merit to helping you out. See, it's pointless, Riki-kun. That's how she is. She couldn't care less about me. Is that all you wanted to ask me? Brushing her hair away with her right hand as she shrugged her shoulders, Futaki-san shot me a glare. What a waste of time. You're wrong. At the very least, you showed up. Futaki-san spun around on her heels, turning her back to us. Whew. Looks like I won that bet, Haruka-san. Haruka-san silently took out a 500 yen coin. Haruka-san had bet that Futaki wouldn't come. I pushed the coin back to her. Futaki-san came, Haruka-san. Yeah. We had needed something to start with. Anything at all. That was one thing I understood clearly. Thinking back over my childhood days, that small thing was actually a huge step forward. When I entered the committee room, I found Futaki-san staring out the window. When the girl sensed my presence, she turned to look at me and spoke first. What? She looked at me like I was something the dog had brought in. I don't really need anything, I just saw you going in. Her face turned, if possible even sourer. I'm not going to help her. She spun her chair around, facing away from me. Resting her chin on her hand, she muttered something to herself. There's just one thing I want to know. What? Why did you have Haruka-san believe you had an egg allergy? What? Just that? Simple. There was an assignment in our grade school home economics class. We had to bring a picture of something we'd made at home. But that child, well, she was her usual self. She knew nothing about cooking either. Futaki-san suddenly stopped talking. And so? She clicked her tongue. Her face said she regretted telling me that much. As I let the silence grow, after a while she seemed to resign herself to finishing her story. And on that day, our family happened to have a competition. Competition? To determine which one of us was inferior. They chose to compare which of us would complete the assignment better. Futaki-san closed her eyes. What are you gonna make, Kanata? What about you, Haruka? Maybe omelet or sunny side up fried eggs? Isn't that just dumping some eggs into a frying pan? It's hard enough. I always end up burning them. I always won the little family competitions, and from there they gradually started treating her worse and worse. Futaki-san murmured. How did it end up? I made miso soup, even though we had been told to make the same thing. She had dared to make something different. But there was no need for me to do that. Her sunny side up egg ended up burned to black after all. So it wasn't even a contest. It was a victory by default. I watched her in the kitchen, trying time after time to cook it right. It's just not working. On her cheeks and arms there were blue bruises. She pretended she hadn't seen them. Kanata, looks like I lost again. But how come you didn't fry a sunny side up egg like me? And so you told her it was because you couldn't touch eggs. That's right. And that's where the lie came from. Why didn't you ever tell her? And then she used that misguided impression to bake a chiffon cake. Why? How come? Such a silly story, right? When she opened her eyes, she was back to her old emotionless self. Just a silly story. With that, she fell silent. You're going to keep avoiding her, huh? They were both viewing each other in a twisted way. That's why they couldn't see eye to eye. Even at such a young age, Haruka-san had registered it as a single merit of her own. That one thing might have become a priceless support for her. But it had been a lie. A lie Futaki-san made in consideration for her sister. But that is all the time that I have for this episode, guys. So if you liked it, hit that like button down below and don't forget to subscribe. I love you guys so much, and I will see you next time. Bye!